to see you. Nice to see you back here. Welcome to this second workshop on Erasmus proposals. I like to see the brave teachers that are coming back for our events. So we are really travel companions on this journey. Thank you very much for being here with us. So we will continue admitting people as they come. But I think I will pass the floor to Dr. Sophocles Sotirio, who is also presenting today the Erasmus Plus KA2 proposals, how to write a successful proposal, a KA2. And I thank Sophocles for the effort to putting this together. We know how busy you are, but also I don't think of a better person to explain to us and to the teachers accompanying us on how to take a benefit from this opportunity. So thank you very much to all of you, and thank you very much, Sophocles, for being here with us. And with that, I give the floor to you, and I will be paying attention to the chat. If there should be any question, I will let you know.
Rosa, thank you very much for organizing this. Also Gustavo and Nikos, and also thank you for offering me the opportunity to share our, let's say, ideas and approach towards these opportunities, I would say, for teachers and schools to get involved in European projects and receive European funding, which is at the end of the day, it's there for them. So this is the second workshop in the row, and in principle is also the starting point, the reference point for the next workshop, which is more, let's say, instead of a lecture from myself, it's going to be a discussion. So at the end of this workshop, I will share with the participants some ideas on how they can set up some working groups. And in the next workshop, we will have the chance to discuss with them their ideas and in principle guide them through the process. So I would like to start also by saying that in our previous workshop 1 week ago, we had, let's say, the call was not published yet, but now the call has just been published. So the first deadline that you can see here in the screen, key action 1, refers mainly to the topic of the previous webinar we had. So the deadline is the 20th of February 2014. So this is the deadline, Central European Time, 12 o'clock, for schools that they want to submit proposals under a KA1 action for mobilities of their staff. Also, we have the deadlines for key action 2, which is the subject of our seminar today. And there we have 2 kinds of projects: the large, I would say, cooperation partnerships. Our interest is in the field of education and training, but also the small-scale partnerships in the field of school education that is offering also opportunities for the creation of school-only projects and development of school-only consortia. I have a link here with the priorities. I mentioned in the previous seminar that this is a very important document for all to have a close look and to see the key areas where Erasmus is really setting the key priorities, which is the digital Erasmus, the green Erasmus, and the inclusive Erasmus. So this framework remains. Some of the priorities have been updated, especially for the school education. There are 2 or 3 things that I have selected and I'm going to present later today. But I would like to highlight that they have always, participants and interested people in this, they have always to look the priorities and the new program guide that it is also in the link here. I'm going to visit this document later in the presentation and discuss some of the key areas. Now, focusing on the key action 2, here we are referring mainly to different kinds of proposals, projects, and there are a series of new, I would say, issues that have to be discussed and explained while interested, let's say, schools and teachers are preparing their applications. So we have the cooperation projects, the big projects, let's say, these can be above 120,000 euros. And the European Union, in order to simplify the process, is implementing a new framework that is called lump sum. That means that the bureaucracy and the administrative load is decreasing significantly, but the quality of the final outcomes is becoming the key issue for funding. So if you deliver what you have promised, if you really demonstrate that you have succeeded in the key objectives of the project and you are delivering the expected outputs, then you are receiving the full amount. So there is no, let me say, a detailed financial audit as it was in the past. If you have promised that you will deliver 1, 2, 3, 4 things, and these at the end of the project are evaluated as satisfactory, then you are receiving the full amount of funding. So this is a very important issue that makes the life of people who want to be involved in this kind of projects much easier. The fact is that for the moment, this scheme, at least the last 2 years, because it is already implemented for 2 years, has not implemented by the national agencies in detail. So at least according to the plan. So still, in some cases, the recommendation is to keep some of the basic documentation available and keep all the information related, for example, to trips, related to different activities and so on. So again, here, I fully recommend to have a close look to the websites of the national agencies and make sure what is required for the monitoring, the financial monitoring of the project. And this is a very important aspect that you have to keep in mind. Now, I would like to say that there are different general descriptions of what cooperation project could be. In the previous years, these projects were categorized mainly at 2, let's say, major categories. The first one was cooperation for innovation. So we are developing something new, a new approach, a new platform, a new, let's say, way for schools to interact, for students to interact, and so on, or on exchange of good practices. This categorization does not apply anymore, but my recommendation would be to follow one of the two categories for the following reason, because in this way you will be very, let's say, it's a very nice way to organize the objectives of your project, to organize the work of your project, to organize the work packages of the project in such a way, because you are defining the framework is either something very new, very innovative, so you have to prove, let's say, through a process, the impact of this innovative aspect, or it is an exchange of good practice. So the focus has to be on exchanges or on communication, on the creation of a community of practice where this exchange can happen. So it will be very helpful, although it is not required from the guidelines. I believe that it is a very good guide to organize your work. So when we are supporting innovation, we have really to develop innovative outputs. While when we are focusing on exchange of good practices, we have to develop networks that are working together, and they are, I would say, the professional of development of the teachers is happening through exchange of good practices and learning from the others, sharing innovative ideas, practices, and methods. So keep that in mind. It's I believe, a very, very useful way. We can have projects that are we have only schools working together on a common project. So this is a very nice opportunity to integrate also some mobility activities in the framework of a KA2 project. If you have followed the previous seminar, we have discussed that the KA1s are mainly for mobilities, but the budget is only limited to the travel expenses, the accommodation, and subsistence expenses. Here, you can still have a mobility of the students, but in the framework of a long-term project. So in this way, you have also additional funding for the teachers who are involved, for the production of the materials, and so on. So it's a very nice opportunity to enrich, let's say, if you have already the experience from KA1, to enrich a KA1 project with this framework of KA2. So there are a number of mobilities. Students are traveling from one school to the other. They are working together on specific projects. I will present such an example later. Now, horizontal priorities. There are the horizontal priorities for Erasmus, for all Erasmus actions, but there are also specific priorities for school education. And you have to make sure that your project is meeting both of them, both at the higher level, the horizontal priorities, or and the some of the school priorities. So major priority for Erasmus to support the development of competencies. Digital competencies, green competencies are at the top place in the agenda. Okay, so you have projects that demonstrate that they are investing significant effort and budget to the development of key competencies, especially for the students, are always, let's say, they are receiving better marks. Inclusive education, this is a very, very important aspect that could be the focus, but it could be also always an additional aspect that you have to explore in your project. The open education the open schooling is a very important priority because for us, let's say, for all these activities to happen, for all these innovative things that are taking place in the framework of the projects, there must be somehow a mechanism that is supporting the realization of these activities in the traditional school environment. And open schooling is a methodology that it is supported by the European Union since 2016, and highlights that there must be a significant organizational change at the level of the school in order to establish effective links with external stakeholders, in order to create these opportunities for cooperation between formal and non-formal learning actors. But these non-formal learning actors must have, I would say, a great interest to invest time and share responsibility for students' learning. For example, science centers and museums, outreach groups of research centers, cultural museums, cultural organizations, that they want really to cooperate effectively with schools, with formal education, in order to update the curricula, to update the methods of instruction, and of course to offer numerous additional resources for teachers to work. So these are key priorities. There is a specific focus on educators, on their continuing professional development, and this is a very important. I mean, this is a key objective of Erasmus, even from the its first implementation about 20 years ago. So training teachers, creation, let's say, of opportunities for teachers to work with peers, to learn from each other, are always top on the agenda of Erasmus. Projects that are focusing on the recognition of skills, certification mechanisms, and so on, are always very important. And really now a new and important key area refers to sustainability and related issues, also in the field of training. Now we are moving. I'm not presenting, please note, all the specific priorities. I have the links to the guide, so you can go and check the priorities one by one, and you can see which is more related to your interests and your ideas. So I'm highlighting some of them. So strengthening the profile of teaching profession, supporting teachers and school leaders to deliver high quality teaching, both at the instruction level, but also at the organizational level of the school. Keep that in mind. The organization, the school as an organization, as a learning organization, is a very important aspect in order to introduce innovation in the school setting. Always focus on specific groups. Here we have mainly teachers from rural schools. As I mentioned in the previous project, in the previous seminar, projects that are related with rural schools, with the use of digital technologies in order to bridge the gap between these schools and the opportunities, let's say, that are offered out there, are always, let's say, very nice starting ideas for projects. Also, there are opportunities for creating projects, especially for school leaders. The school leaders, step by step, are also involved in numerous new roles. Let's say they have to make sure that the school is operating as a learning organization, establishing links with external stakeholders. They have to follow the energy efficiency of the building. They have to create the necessary space in time and in space in order for teachers to organize all these activities. So training is needed because they were never prepared for all these things. So it's very important aspect also for them. Basic skills in STEM. This remains as a specific priority in school education. The rise of STEM and the rise of STEAM, the addition of artistic expression in STEM subjects with the aim to increase the creativity of the students and involve more students, and particularly girls in the STEM subjects, is also a very important parameter. And focus on projects that are student-centered, where problem-based active learning is demonstrated. I mean, the projects where the teachers are acting as coaches of learning and students are becoming developers of content. They are designing their own activities. So the school is becoming a hub, a place where new subjects, new themes for curricula are appearing through this, let's say, student-centered approach with innovation that is coming from let's say, bottom up. These are priorities that were also presented in the past. And here, this is from the new guide that was published, as we said, some days ago. So you can see that there are activities related to the recognition of learning outcomes for the participants in cross-border learning mobility. This is very nicely, could be very nicely connected with also with a K1 project, supporting innovators in school. This is a very nice new thing in order to support. Usually we are saying that the innovators are really isolated and they are facing difficulties while they are acting as agents of change in the specific framework. So how we can really support these ambassadors, these mentors of innovation in school environment. So this is a very, I believe, a very interesting new topic. And also there is a relation to projects that are related with the war in Ukraine and how these partnerships between, let's say, schools in other European countries and Ukraine can be established and operate in order to explore best practices, especially to support further students and schools that are located in Ukraine and they are affected from the continuous war there. So before I move to some examples, I will enter to the guide, and I would say that there are all the details here. Starting from page 200. Of course, you can look the initial part, but I think the key issue for you is starting at page 235, 36. Let me go there. And presents the details for how we can set up a project, how a big project, a big cooperation project can be organized, but also how a small-scale partnership can be established, which are the main topics. Here there is information about the overall organization of a small scale partnership. The small scale partnership can be from 6 to 24 months. And there are the specific deadlines here. There is also the information that in case that there is budget available, and this can happen in some countries, both big cooperation projects and small-scale partnerships can be also published in October. So it can be a second chance for submitting a proposal. This applies for the small-scale partnerships in all countries, but for the big cooperation projects that are above 120,000 euros, in these cases, if there is budget available, the call is published also for the big projects. But for the small scale partnerships, there are opportunities both in March and also in October. Okay, so these are the deadlines. Okay, 5 of March is the deadline for projects starting from the 1st of September to the 31st of December of 2024. And there is a second deadline on the 1st of October for projects starting from January 1st, 2025 and 31st of August. So you have the opportunity to arrange really the starting point. And there is also information about how you can set up the project, which are the key criteria, which are the priorities. You see they are highlighted also here. And there is one by one the key award criteria and how many points the project is getting as a maximum in meeting every one of these criteria. So the relevance, is it related really with the priorities of Erasmus? Quality of the project design and implementation, how well the different activities have been prepared. Is there a clear work plan that is meeting? It is related really with the project objective. These kind of things are very important in this part. Quality of the partnership. For example, if I want, let's say, to build a small scale project, it is always advisable to have a school that has experience in running these kind of projects and have also newcomers in the consortium. So this demonstrates that there will be some transfer of experience in this field. Also, if we are designing, let's say, a bigger project where expertise, external expertise, not that expertise that is available at the school level, for example, for the design of a platform, or if a specific pedagogical guidance is needed, then we can have, let's say, the chance to add partners from, let's say, a company that is developing software solutions, or a university, a pedagogical department of a university that is offering this kind of expertise. And the impact is a very important parameter. we have to demonstrate that we have a clear plan in order to assess the impact of the project, of the proposed activities to the target groups, to the participants. Are they teachers because it's a training program? Are they students if it is implementing an innovative, let's say, method or an innovative tool to be used by students? These are things that we have to take into account and I would say consider very well while we are preparing the application. Don't forget that we have always to keep in mind the quality standards of Erasmus. We have discussed about the quality standards also in the previous seminar, but also this applies here. Now, I will, let's say, continue by presenting some ideas. I have tried to select some cases that are not only in line with the priorities of Erasmus, but also they demonstrate the capacity, let's say, of new technologies to bring even in rural schools unique opportunities for, let's say, higher learning experiences. So I will start with this project idea. It is called Sismolab. It has a quite long history because it started about 6-7 years ago by installing low-cost seismometers in different schools, mainly in the southern Mediterranean area, where there is significant seismic activity, and clearly this is an issue that it is also related with numerous social factors and interest. And it expanded, it became, let's say, a network, quite active network with numerous schools in different European countries that is keep expanding and let's say is offering now the opportunity to create your own seismometer. There is all the necessary information on how you can construct a seismometer. So the idea of the project would be how we can prepare in the framework of a laboratory work, on a framework of a series of activities that will be implemented in a school environment, how we can construct such a seismometer. So you see here, this is the construction. It includes parts that you can buy from the shop. It's rather cheap, but most of the parts are 3D printed, and through Raspberry, they are connected. They can be connected to the network. So there is all the necessary information for running this kind of activity. This is the installation, by the way, in our school, and here is I'm sharing some images from the materials that we have for the different workshops that can be organized in order to act as the central activity in the framework of such a school cooperation project. So the students from different schools are working together in order to create in each school their own seismometer, okay? And there are all these detailed materials on how you can prepare. There are also the drawings in case that there is a 3D printer available in the school. You can take the drawings and prepare, or they are also, I have to say, they are open, and students can make also some small modifications in case that their calibration demonstrates that there is a need for such a case. All the information is available, and of course, at the end, how you will program the digitizer in order to connect this this seismometer to the network and have really the opportunity to assess earthquakes. But the interesting part and the real cooperation is starting after the initiation of the operation of the seismometer. Because the idea, let's say, of establishing a school network with, let's say, measuring earthquakes and assessing the strength of the earthquakes is based on somehow is imposing the collaboration between the schools. Because if I have a seismometer installed in my school, in principle, I'm able to assess, to get a picture like this that you see here, but I have no idea from where it came from. So I can say that it came from a distance, let's say, from 100 kilometers. I can assess the size of the earthquake, but I don't know if it was north, south, west, east, from where this came. So in order to do that, I need the data from another school. In principle, I need the data from 2 more schools. And only then I will be able to locate the epicenter. So we have to create a cycle around the seismometer, a second cycle around the second one, and the third one. And the single common point these cycles have is the epicenter. And then the students can start analyzing all the rest of the data. So this project, I will give you the reference, is offering all this kind of data to start implementing this kind of project. So schools can come together and design their own experimental devices, the seismometers, set them in action, start operating, and then start counting and measuring earthquakes and monitoring the seismic activity in the area. In fact, these seismometers are very, in case they are placed in quite, let's say, silent, I would say, places, can record earthquakes even from the other side of the planet. They are sensitive, let's say, to earthquakes, to big earthquakes that are happening 9,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers away. So in principle, it is not necessary to implement the project in a country that has significant seismic activity. You can implement that also in countries where this kind of subjects are related to the school curriculum, and you have the chance to design your own, let's say, scientific network with the other schools. Here, for example, is a recording of an earthquake in our school that came from 9,000 kilometers away. This is another earthquake that came from, also from more than 9,000 kilometers away. And in principle, you can, let's say, have access to all this data and perform this kind of activities. This is, by the way, from an earthquake that came from New Zealand. The signal came from New Zealand, covering a distance of more than 11,000 kilometers. So with this one, you can move even to more complex projects, making also activities related to Earth tomography and let's say more demanding projects related to geology and so on. I would share 2 more examples of projects that can be related to that. Imagine a school network that is acting as, let's say, as a mechanism for civil protection that is providing early warning messages to the local community. So this graph presents more or less the key idea of an early warning system. Here we have the earthquake. The earthquake waves start traveling, but in principle they are not so fast. They are traveling with 8 kilometers per second. So they will activate, let's suppose that we have these sensors are the school seismometer, and they activate this seismometer, but the information from this point, because our seismometers are directly connected with internet, and there the information is traveling much faster than the seismic wave. The information, if we say that is traveling with the speed of light, is 300,000 kilometers per second. So in principle, this school can inform this school or can inform the big city that an earthquake is coming. And there is a whole discussion how fast this can be done. But this could be an excellent activity for the students to design algorithms that could inform the civil protection about an upcoming earthquake. The time that they have is only a few seconds, but in principle demonstrates how things can work in the future in order to inform citizens about this kind of activities. So we have again information related with this. So students are involved in hackathons related to the creation of pieces of code that are acting as early warning systems for earthquakes, and they can send automatic alerts that an earthquake is coming. Also, as we are speaking for variations, let's say, of signals during the time, we can connect the seismic activity with music creation. So students can create, let's say, using the waveforms from earthquakes, they can sonify them and add sounds to them and create together a common performance based on seismic data. The data includes, I have to say, more than 50,000 waveforms from all these years of the operation, from numerous earthquakes, big ones or smaller ones or very small ones. And they are available to perform this kind of activities. Now for, let's say, I don't want to invest more time because I would like also to devote some time to some discussion at the end. But my presentation, I will share the presentation. You can use the links, and I have access to related software, and you can hear the sounds of earth from some selected earthquakes here and here in order to get an idea. This could be a great idea, for example, for starting a STEAM project. So you can involve also the music teacher, the STEM teachers working together on seismic data and how they can create music performances from them, and bringing the schools together to cooperate on a common musical performance with the sounds of earth. The information, all the information about this project and the materials, the database, all the information on how you can download data and how you can create the seismometer is available to this website. The second example has to do with mainly with access to scientific resources to get data, let's say, from observatories and telescopes that are located in also in remote areas like the rural schools, but still they are devoting some of their time to offer the opportunity to schools to perform their own observations. So you can have access to high quality content, and you can have access to advanced infrastructures. This is the Skinnacas telescope, especially for, I will make a reference at the end with the materials for the Greek participants, as the Skinnacas telescope in Crete has an interface available for the Greek schools to perform this kind of observations. But also there are other infrastructures like the Fuchs telescope. They are located in different places around the world, in Spain, in Australia, in Chile, and teachers can perform, let's say, book time and have access to this kind of information. This is from the Fuchs, the interface from the Fuchs telescope. You can get this kind of images and share with the students. So what we can do with these images, though, it's the same question, because as we said, the use of this infrastructure is motivating students, but what we have to do during the lesson and during the project is the interesting thing. So there are numerous opportunities, for example, to demonstrate the rotation of the sun. To perform such an activity is not necessary to have a robotic telescope. It could be a simple telescope, and you have to see the displacement of the sunspots on the solar disk. The sun is rotating about 12, 13 degrees per day, so only in 1 or 2 days you can get a very nice and a very clear displacement of the sunspots, and use that for circular motion, for example, or rotation of a rigid body more advanced from the reflected light on an asteroid. Asteroids are rotating very fast, and so we can get this series of images in one night and demonstrate the periodic motion of the asteroid while it's turning other sides towards the sun, and the light that is coming, the light that is reflected and is coming to the telescope is varying as it's shown in the plot below. An additional case could include a virtual visit to a museum, for example. This is the Museo Galileo in Florence, that it has all its collections also in digital format. So you can perform a visit, let's say, to this place, and by starting from the notes, let's say, that are available in digital format of Galileo about his observation, you can go through all the history of development of telescopes from 1610 till now. And yeah, this is the interface. You can enter and you can see, for example, the moons of Jupiter from his original notebooks, how he was making this kind of observation. What is the interesting thing here? The interesting thing here is, by starting from his observations, you can try to repeat them now with the tools that we have. Because, for example, in Saturn, Galileo was not able really to understand the structure of this system. He was thinking that it was it was a three-body system and so on. But now we have magnificent images, and you can demonstrate to the students how technology and science are developing, and how step by step we are able to discover the cosmos. By the way, this is a very nice image that I'm always would like always to show. This is an image of Earth from Cassini, that the moment that the sun is behind Saturn, in principle, has the chance to make a number of images, in principle, a big number of images, in order to get this picture. And this small dot here is the Earth. And you can, as I said, my presentation is full of links. You can see a very nice video from Carl Sagan here, devoted to the small blue dot in the universe, which is our planet. Another interesting idea here is, let's say, these are again the drawings of Galileo. These are the faces of Venus. In principle, this was the major discovery he made, that he was really convinced that the planets are moving around the sun and not around the Earth. And he has made drawings on specific dates. So by using a tool that is called the Stellarium, I will present that in the next slide. You can fix the location. You can go to Toscan and to Florence, observe the sky, the nights of August, for example, of 1610, and check if Galileo was really saying the truth or he was lying when he was making these drawings. So you have the chance to go back in time and check one by one all the observations from the notes of Galileo. This is Stellarium. You can set here the exact date of the observation in Florence, and you can get the image of Venus. The very interesting thing, this could be another project, is that it's not necessary to have a robotic telescope and a robotic infrastructure to perform all these tasks, but you can include hands-on activities, and by simple materials, using simple materials, you can construct your own telescope, and every student can construct his or her own telescope and observe the sky. This is a comparison of a photo taken from this homemade telescope and the notes from Galileo demonstrating the moons of Jupiter in the same exactly location. Here I have numerous educational resources for you from a number of projects in the field. There are demonstrators, there are tools that you can use, there are teacher-related scenarios, there are educational resources also, even from more advanced infrastructures like neutrino telescopes, or I mean, more complex from gravitational waves in Italy. And for the Greek participants, there is the DSpace initiative that offers teacher scenarios in Greek for all classes. As I said, this is related with the they are coming from the Skinnacas telescope in Crete. Now I'm closing by presenting, let's say, another opportunity. As we said, we don't have only the digital and the STEM and all these issues, but we have also the concept of green, Erasmus, the concept of developing open schools. As we said, it's a very crucial in the design of all projects in Erasmus, how the school cooperate with external stakeholders and how it's becoming step by step a sustainable ecosystem. In case that you want to move in this direction, I would like, let's say, to highlight, to have a close look to the Green Comp framework, to the, let's say, to the green competencies. And if you are designing such a project, make sure that you are really highlighting the key competencies for the students that are related with the green comp. This is under the wider framework, the European Green Deal, the big effort that the European Commission is doing in order to support, let's say, the effective introduction of environmental education and the behavioral change, especially of the students. This is the policy. This is the policy context. So projects that demonstrate the value of the green framework, I believe that they will be really, they will have significant chances to be successful. So if the project is demonstrating how the green competence framework can be integrated in the school curriculum in different countries, it would be really a very nice concept. A bit more advanced projects, I would say, in the field of green Erasmus could be related with the new European Bauhaus. The new European Bauhaus considers schools as core nodes for the introduction, let's say, of a new culture that is related with energy efficiency and starting, let's say, from the building. So in many countries, there are significant investments on school buildings in order to act as role models in this framework. This is, as you understand, it is, and I mean, it's not so easy to implement. I mean, it is for schools mainly where some investment is already taking place, but clearly they can take advantage of this investment if it is happening, let's say, at local level, to expand this and create projects related to these initial investments that are taking place in the school building. So this is the concept of NEBLab, New European Bauhaus Labs, schools acting as drivers, let's say, in the new European Bauhaus. Here, we have to connect, let's say, the physical place of education and knowledge, demonstrate that it is providing a new framework for learning, and all this thing is happening in close relationship with the local community. These are the key characteristics of these new European Bauhaus projects. In case that there is interest, let's say, of in this framework, visit eco2schools.eu to see how you can create projects around this framework. Ideas for projects for the next seminar. I think I mean, this was, let's say, this is our plan with Rosa and Gustavo and Nico to, let's say, to give you some, I would say, homework for the next seminar, in order to think of, I would say, two cases, and based on your ideas, we can have a detailed discussion in the next seminar. So the select from the predefined list of thematic areas. It could be, let's say, ideas that I have presented, but it could be your own idea coming from the priorities of Erasmus. Keep in mind that they have to be related with the priorities of Erasmus. This is very, very important. And try to create a school-only partnership around the project. Okay? You can work in groups, let's say, of participants, but you can set up your own group and present to us in the next time that I would like to have a school from there, and present such an idea. In the second case, I would, let's say, challenge you to present a project that it is related with school innovation, not just to exchange of best practices on an existing thing, but feel free to bring your own idea, how you think you have to act in order to change the school environment and let's say, toward, I would say, better learning outcomes for the students, again, related with the key priorities of Erasmus, and present that to us in the next workshop. So I have, as I'm concluding, let's say, this series of workshops, I have here all the information. You can contact us, you can contact me at any time, and I would be happy. And I believe also Gustavo, Rosa, and Nikos are always available to support the teacher communities. I would be also happy to provide share ideas and guidance if needed.
Thank you very much, Sophocles. That was very comprehensive with lots of ideas. I am 100% sure that teachers that are starting this journey have their brains now, oh my God, I need to sleep and absorb all the complete information that Sophocles has shared with us. But we have time. As Sophocles said, the call was just announced. So we have a few months where we can still help you and support you in writing your proposals. But I think the most important step is to join us next week, to find other schools willing to participate and to join hands in this or other partnership projects. So that is a very good starting point. Even if you don't present this year, it's always good to start establishing such partnerships. So again, as happened last week, the recording of this workshop is going to be uploaded to the Learning from the Extremes YouTube channel. And you can share, you are very welcome to share this with your colleagues and headmasters and people from other schools. And again, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks, Gustavo, Nikos, and thank you, Sophocles, so much for putting together this presentation. We don't have any questions on the chat, just thank you from different people. So I guess we also let you go, Sophocles. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
One issue, Rosa, especially this refers mainly to the Greek teachers, but also to all teachers from Learning from the Extremes community. On the 19th of January, we are going to have a big demo, a major of January, 19th of January, Friday. We are going to have a major demo of the DSpace service. And we will be connected. All this applies for all Learning from Extreme School. They will be connected with Skinakas Observatory in Crete, but also with Biden Observatory in South Africa, to demonstrate the potential of new technology in introducing astronomy in their school environment. So these what I have presented are not only, ideas, but they are real stuff that they can happen in every school, rural or a very, very small school, but also to big schools.
Well, it's not only this activities, not only the conference, we have the webinars, we have the Tea with Beats, we have other activities. If you would like, well, I mean, you are on the portal, you can go to learningfromtheextreme.eu and you can register to the conference there. But you are now all in our mailing list, so you will receive further information about these opportunities, including the next workshop that is going to take place next week. So thanks again, everyone, and
bye.
Nikos.
There was a question, could you send the link in the presentation?
That was for Sophocles, I think.
And we will upload the YouTube recording on the portal, and we will have all the links there also.
That is correct.
Okay, so
That
we
is
have a
correct.
section on the Learning from Experience portal with all the recordings, and we will upload the links there.
It's if you go to the portal, it's in training opportunities.
Exactly.
Okay, everyone. So that was it. It was very packed, but I think a lot of information was shared. So thank you, everyone, and see you all soon. I'm going to end the meeting for all.